Have you ever wondered about what else could be out there? The unknown, the anomalous. There's a secret group of scientists, military, and weapons experts who live to discover and hide creatures from the darkest corners of the world. While their efforts are successful more often than not, sometimes fate allows for terror to remain untamed. SCP-173, the statue, is the first SCP to be written in this fantastical world of horrors. As we enter Spooky Month today, I figured it was only fair to finally give the first ever SCP its proper analysis as we find out how powerful is SCP-173. For a 2-meter tall humanoid monster, SCP-173, which for simplicity's sake I'll refer to as 173 or the statue, is easily the SCP-verse's most direct destroyer. While the original file made the concept explode, for the purposes of today's analysis, my main source for 173 will be the revised entry, as it is the most modern and interesting of the tellings of 173. And if that upsets you, consider that most of the statue's most impressive feats don't even come from the original file. Don't get me wrong, I love the OG Peanut Boy as much as the rest of the fandom, but it is irrelevant for today's analysis. 173 is easily one of the Foundation's most dangerous monsters. As long as there are eyes on it, it cannot move, attack, or do anything else. Close your eyes for a moment though and kiss your life goodbye. The halls of the SCP Foundation are all too often filled with the everlasting echoes of crunching neck bones. But don't think 173 can only snap necks. Since being the first ever SCP, this concrete menace has been the subject of many SCP verses, like how 173 was the only known and documented SCP able to permanently damage the tall, pale, shy guy, SCP-096. 096 has broken loose from containment several times, and has been shown being able to outrace a V-22 Osprey chopper and even dive to the bottom of the Tonga Trench fast enough to break Mach 15. Not only that, but 096 was once shown casually flipping over a semi-truck, a vehicle with a weight of 80,000 pounds. That's a feat over 82 times greater than that of Brian Shaw, who became the world's strongest man in 2013 with a lift of 975 pounds. Keep in mind, 096 was able to battle the hard-to-kill reptile 682, and the fight ended in a draw, and 173 had made a mockery of the large lizard for some time before it grew an innumerable amount of armored eyes, so to never let the statue move into range. At the gargantuan size that 682 is, it have a bite force of 251,623 psi, which is mighty impressive, as steel has a tensile strength just around 60,900 psi. Making 682's bite force over 4 times stronger. Not only does this make 173 already ludicrously strong, but that's even without mentioning its ability to be incredibly fast. While its average speed is around 21 meters per second, it's been able to break Mach speeds when it once moved 10 centimeters in a 1,000th of a second. A feat which would require the statue to move as fast as 10,000 meters per second. That's nearly 30 times the speed of sound. One time, when 173 was unrestricted by eye contact, it was able to pass by continents in minutes. Using Asia as a point of reference and using its total area to work out a radius, this would mean 173 had to travel a distance as wide as 7,533,895 meters in a time frame as small as 2 minutes, a speed that would clock in at 62,782 meters per second over Mach 183. In this same tale, it was able to shred through a city and search any and every room in the building for any possible signs of life to bring them to an end. Using a city like New York and using an average building height of 6 stories, roughly 24.4 meters, before accounting for the average area 173 takes up while sitting upright, it would have to traverse a distance of 76 billion meters. If we severely lowball this to taking the statue upwards of a week, it'd still be moving at Mach 368. That is 126,000 meters per second. If at this point you think these feats are out of character for a solid concrete humanoid to perform, viewer, you have no idea. For instance, 682 was casually ripped asunder by the statue, and that guy has even more impressive feats of durability than 096, like when it was written out of reality, endured a 14.5 kiloton blast from SCP-001, the Gate Guardian, and even overcame the entity SCP-123, a black hole-like being with the mass of our solar system. This would require 682 to absorb a weight equivalent to over 4,300 octillion pounds. Not only could it absorb such a colossal weight, it once grew large enough to eat our galaxy. Considering the gravitational binding energy required to destroy large objects like planets and stars, we find that to do so will require 172 trillion tons of TNT. And things don't stop there! In its true form, 173, referred to as the Koitern, was able to single-handedly bring genocide to 1/3 of 682's Leviathan army. SCP-169 is a massive space-dwelling creature that can move faster than light, create huge earthquakes just by adjusting itself while sleeping on Earth's islands, and in its younger years could tank the explosion output of stars as big as the blue hypergiant, with an output 60,000 times greater than our own sun, and accounting for the 10 to the 44th power joules of energy released in a supernova from a star like our sun. Even one Leviathan would be enduring energy required to destroy a solar system. That's just one. If we lowball this army to the size of the American army, with over 560,000 soldiers, to destroy 1/3 of that army, it would require 173 to be able to produce over 2,600 trillion tons of TNT. Last but not least, let's return to the hard-to-kill reptile. Outside of its true form, albeit grown to an extreme size, 682 was able to shake off a laser capable of destroying solar systems. Something worth 479 quadrillion tons of TNT. Why do I bring this up? Well, when 173 multiplied and brought the world into chaos, twice now we've brought such a thing up in this video, when it did this, it had a population in the hundreds. Of that, 150 of them teamed up and killed the large lizard once and for all in that timeline. To do so outside of its true higher dimensional form is ridiculous. Only proves that it would be more than capable of a galaxy, if not universe and above wide destruction. But with all of that being said, I want to thank you all for coming to Honor's Place. I hope you enjoyed your stay. If you want more SCP content, let me know down below, or maybe check out my previous videos on 096 and 682. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on content from me. And, yeah. Bye.